The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw Dating, preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, Nicole Hutchison, and Jess Navarez.
Hey Cowboys Nation, how are y'all? Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison and Jess Navarez. I don't know if y'all just heard that, that was my stomach growling, so it was kind of loud. My bad.
Yo.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was kind of loud.
Same. It's okay.
I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
So how are y'all ladies?
You're okay.
Y'all good?
Yeah.
Holidays?
Short week. Weird week, short week, holiday week, all of that together.
Double holiday week.
Double holiday week. It means sleepy is pretty much the vibe.
Is it a double holiday week?
Yeah,
Christmas and New Year's
Eve.
Oh, well,
New Year's Eve?
technically,
It's on Sunday?
New Year's Eve is on
Yeah.
Sunday, and then New Year's Day is New Year's Day is on Monday.
I literally was just I talked
Yeah.
to Chauncey. I sound right?
Yeah,
you sound
we
good.
can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. I talked to Chauncey Golston in the locker room, and I was just saying, bro, like, how fast this season has gone by. And I
It's insane.
asked him, I said, have you ever had a season that felt like it went by this fast? He talking about the older you get, I said, now, you ain't got to say all of that. You ain't got to say all of that. But, yeah, the players feel it, too, is that this season has just flown by. And I think the reality for them is setting in as well, because when you start getting into playoffs, it's not we have a next week. It's the intensity is up. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that Stefan was talking about, and I'm sorry, we off track.
No,
But
we're so excited.
But yeah,
No,
no,
it's
Stefan
fine.
was talking
Go
about
ahead.
that too, and he was just like, at this time of the year, you got to keep, especially like the young guys, a lot more locked in, because you tend to kind of like lose track of the focus around this time of year because you're playing game after game after game,
Yeah.
and the season is so
especially
long.
when you've clinched
yeah,
two.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Got to
so-
stay foot on the pedal,
Focused.
even if you have clinched,
For
to
sure.
your point, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just something that they were kind of touching about. A lot of the guys were actually
Yeah.
talking about in the locker room too.
Dak talked about it today too, saying we only have 2 weeks promised at this point, and so after that, it's kind of just it's the real deal. It's time to go, and so the vibe you get from the locker room is interesting today, if you will. So. Dak described it as people being, I don't know if I can say that word, but upset and mad and angry, but using it to project them going forward the next couple of weeks to kind of build back what they need to build back ahead of playoffs. And so to your point, Aisha, yes, this season has gone by so fast. I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't know what week it is anymore. I just know there's 2 weeks left of the regular season. It's playoffs, and things are about to get real busy here in the next couple of weeks. So
Yeah, well,
looking
we got
forward
some
to it.
news today, ladies, for Sean Evans, Cowboys linebacker. Well, formerly, he was waived today. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but he was waived today. We don't have to say why, but well, no, we can say why. It doesn't matter. For arrest for marijuana charge, I guess yesterday, but they released him today. So now that leaves Marquise Bell and Damone Clark carrying the load once again. Lord, that linebacker room
Yeah.
is concerning.
Yeah, the depth in the locker room, in the linebacker room is tight. Now, I wonder if the Cowboys want to just be able to sign him back to the practice roster or practice, But I do understand, having to elevate Matt Willetsko even late in the season. O-line has obviously had its share of injuries. It's kind of insurance, whatever the case may be. But got to see Micah man the middle of the field. I asked him today. I said, Micah, do you like playing in the middle field? He said, I just like being on the field.
it's very
And
much
it was very
fair.
on brand for him because that's what his college coaches would say. And that's why he said he loved being multiple because it allows him to be able to still stay on the field. So you did get some help last week from him playing linebacker, coming as a free, coming free and being able to knife in between and help contain the edge. I think you can continue to see that happen because I'm sure they're aware of where they are depth-wise in the linebacker room. And I know a lot of people are upset But just going to have to persevere through it. We're at the point in the year where you can't add to, really. You can't do anything, really. So you got to adjust and figure it out. How do you feel, Jess? I see you blinking. I seen that fast blinking. I said, "What's?"
It's obviously concerning because we talk about how short this linebacker room is, and anything can happen in the next couple of weeks, right? And when I say that, I'm obviously not wishing anything to happen on anybody. It's just the reality of when you have such a stiff room that you cannot afford to lose a player, you really have to kind of consider how to make sure that they stay healthy when you're talking about Marquise Bell and Damone Clark, how they can stay healthy ahead of the postseason.
Tracking.
And it's hard to do when, one, you want that 11th win. You just came off of back-to-back losses, and you need to build that confidence back up ahead of the playoffs. But how do you do that with ensuring that your linebackers stay healthy at this point? And so, I was looking at Rashawn's stats and everything that came up, and so he only had 9 starts this season. He took 71 total snaps on defense. The most snaps that he had during a game was against the Giants at home when the Cowboys played at home. He had 28 snaps there, so 49.1% of those snaps. And then he also played on special teams, and so that kind of fills another hole, I thought, in my brain for Bones Fossil to kind of rearrange once again. And we talked about this before, how much Bones has had to rearrange special teams just this season alone because of these losses. And so it's unfortunate, and the timing obviously is not ideal. But when you're talking about the health of the team where it's needed, seeing Chuma pop up on that injury report today, Tyron still being on the injury report, you do need that depth at tackle.
Tracking.
And so you kind of have to decide a switch 22 at that point, which is which, because you also see struggling O-line. Where do you put depth and how? So find the puzzle pieces where they fit and make with what you have right now.
Yeah.
I guess you gotta kind of go back to that linebacker position, make with what you have. That's Damone Clark and Marquise Bell. With the way that they've kind of struggled the last couple of weeks, especially with tackling, getting manhandled by offensive linemen. Just a lot of struggles there, especially with Marquise Bell's size. He's kind of on the smaller side.
You miss your deep.
You miss Hankins.
It's it's so playing DT in this game, having a steady DT in this game is a luxury. It is a blessing. And again, what he does there, not only is his loss affecting the linebackers, it's also, to me, affecting your interior with guys like Osa, where even last week, their center is compromised. This is not a starting center, but when Osa is doing things, that he normally isn't doing with some of the two-gapping and having to hold double teams at times, it takes away from the pass rushing ability as well.
Yeah.
So with those guys having to come together and try to figure out how to fill a big hole with a Hankins who's been doing this for years, it's also, to me, taking away from this pass rush that needs to be able to get after it again, especially in a game like this where if you affect the quarterback, I wish they would have affected him more last week. You're able to, you should be able to get these guys off the field and do some things. So Hankins is truly missed. I know these linebackers wish he was there. But again, you're seeing them use Micah, and I think that's probably going to be the Band-Aid until now. I don't want it to stop. Because it's helpful.
Facts.
But the best Band-Aid you can do right now is to have Micah in there on these rushing downs and be able to go from there.
We'll kind of break down. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. The defense versus the Lions offense. Sorry, it was a little brain fart right there. I'm sorry, y'all. But no, we'll dive into that in the second and third segment. But for right now, the overview of this Lions team, they just clinched their division the first time in crazy long, I think since 1993. Just talking briefly about what this team poses, what challenge they present. This offense is absolutely barnacles. Like, amazing.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun. The play calling that they do is so creative.
Yes, have that written down.
Yeah, with their running backs. My goodness. Their rookie was Jahmyr Gibbs. I know. Yeah, I got to work on the pronunciation.
That's
Jahmyr
right.
Gibbs.
Hey, got it.
Yeah. What kind of challenge, guys?
Yeah,
What kind of challenge did they bring, man?
Go ahead, Mama.
You got it. You got it. I have to reach down here to get my notes.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're good,
So
go ahead.
don't put me on camera, Jazzy. I have to reach down here. Wait until I get off camera.
Yeah, the everything that they do offensively goes through this offensive
Go ahead,
line.
you're good.
It's
Okay. No, you're good.
it's one of the best offensive lines in football. They constructed this offensive line. They're athletic. They can also run power as well. You talked about the creativity. They do some interesting things motion-wise, pre-snap, using their tight ends and running backs to get. They really understand leverage well. And so they understand that if this offensive line can get to the second level, which they do very well, this allows Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, who is a wide receiver converted running back,
Yeah.
which is insane, I think that plays into a lot of his shiftiness. But yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is averaging 5.7 yards a carry. He has 19 TDs on the year. And then also, too, David Montgomery, 4.7 yards a carry, 11 TDs on the year. They use these guys in the receiving game as well, which is one of Jahmyr Gibbs's best traits coming out, was just how much he can do in the passing game. We talk about, when you look at the draft, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of guys that have fallen to teams that I'm like, baby, I don't know if you fit their perfect fit.
Yeah.
Perfect fit. They did a lot to get this run game going to take stress off of the quarterback as well. So as far as the running game, this offensive line will pin and pull you to death, which a couple weeks ago is what happened to you.
Hello.
So these linebackers are going to have to play, asking a lot of them again, they're going to have to be sound and not fall for the eye candy.
Yeah.
Because if you fall for the eye candy and these guards and tackles get up to the second level, good night.
Yeah.
Good night. This is an interesting offense. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk too much.
No, you're good.
This is an interesting offense. What Ben Johnson has done over there, I listen.
Who
I
would
don't
have
like
thought the Lions?
They're my second favorite team.
You know what's interesting is
second
that
favorite team.
Aisha called this though. Like,
Yeah.
I want to go back to like week 3 maybe. I want to say 3 or 4. You said something about the Lions. And I don't even remember what we were talking about, but you brought them up. And now that we're here, it's just such an interesting time how the cards have fallen for the Cowboys to meet the Lions at this point, because this isn't just going to be an easy, hey, the Cowboys are back at home. They play good at home. You have to think of all the factors going into this game as well. You've lost 2 back-to-back games. They should be upset, and they are. They're playing
They felt
upset.
like they should have
They're
won that
playing
game.
angry, and it's what's going to be interesting is the narrative is the Cowboys can't win on the road, but is it? Can they not win on the road, or can they not win right now? And so this game is going to determine that factor in itself, because if they lose a home game with the longest consecutive home win streak in the NFL right now, sky's really going to be falling a week before playoffs officially start.
I ain't got time.
But what I'm saying, you have to have time for it, because that's the reality of if they go into this game and they don't win. They have to win this game.
I agree.
They have to win this game.
Do y'all think this will be the biggest test at home
Mike
this
McCarthy
season?
says so.
Yes.
Mike McCarthy says so. I conceptually,
They're going to test every single aspect that we've been dogging them about for the last season.
Yeah.
The last few weeks, specifically with your run defense, penalties, precision, all of that.
baby,
Guys, I didn't
was
get
gone.
to talk yesterday.
Baby was gone for a day.
I
And
was gone
she
for a
said,
day, and I had a
y'all
lot.
gonna hear from me.
I had a lot to say about that loss in Miami. I had a lot to say. Y'all didn't get to hear about it.
Baby girl is hot.
All I'm saying, though, is this is a must-win, and they know that. They're aware of that in the locker room. Nobody has to tell them that. They are aware of it. But if you want a game that's truly going to test every single thing that has been your downfall or your weakness, your kryptonite, whatever you want to call it, your run defense, penalties, test your offensive line to see how well it's protecting your quarterback on the defensive side, test your linebackers, test your safeties, specifically test the middle of the field. All of that's going to come into play in this game. And so, I'm glad they're playing this game at home. I am. I think I'm glad they're playing this game at home. However, it would be nice if they were on track to play this game on the road and get a win out of it, because road games still are probably the biggest kryptonite right now.
I know we've been talking about it the past 2 weeks with the opponents that the Cowboys had to face, the Bills and Miami. But now this is like third time's the charm with beating really good teams. I mean, of course they beat the Eagles at home, but just within this December month, we've been talking about it. They need to win this game. And what would a win, because so far 1-2 this month, right?
For wins?
In December?
For December?
Yeah, 1-2.
I think they're 1-2. Yeah, they need to at least get to 2-2.
Yeah. What would a win say about this team if you beat a team like the Detroit Lions?
I mean, so defensively, they do a lot of the things you've been struggling with all month. So again, even though it's at home, you're getting to see some of the disguising, some of the usage of the safeties and all that good stuff here. But also too, I just think it's important for them to have a complete win. I believe that I felt like the Seattle game was probably the most complete win they've had all season. Facing the adversity, defense having to get stops when it needs to get stops, and it wasn't all pretty. That team was very desperate.
Offense producing,
being able to do things in the running and the passing
scoring
game.
Touchdowns.
Special teams come into the party because they have not been fantastic this last 2 weeks either. They need a complete game to me. And so this is the opportunity to have all of the machine working together as one to come out with a confident win. And again, this Dan Campbell-led team is feisty. They play very hard for their coach, and they have developed a culture over there that is physical. Listen, I don't know if you remember last year, anytime a team played the Lions, check out their injury report the week after. Maybe they going for kneecaps. They are not like, and they've added some fire to this defense, which we'll get into tomorrow also too, with the Brian Branch that plays with his hair on fire. They have guys over there. So this is when Mike McCarthy said it, I know a lot of people was like, our hardest test. Probably. This is a complete team. And they do have their glitchy moments, which we'll get into. But for the most part, they trust their coach and they trust their coaching, and you can see that on the field.
That's something that McCarthy. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
That was real quick. That was just something that Mike McCarthy said today too. That Dan Campbell went in there with a vision,
and it's
coming together. And these players really believe in that vision as well. And the culture that they've built is a winning goddamn culture.
I love that. I mean, granted, like, don't get me wrong, they're the opponent, but the Lions have been a franchise for a long time, and so to your point, to see it come together for a team, for them to rally behind their coach, for them to draft to what fits their new system and things of that nature. Also, too, Jared Goff going there and kind of re-emerging as one of the better quarterbacks in this league. It also speaks to some of his resiliency after everything that happened with the Rams to come to Detroit and to be successful there. Given the fact, I mean, the guy won a Super Bowl and they was like, hey, homie, we gonna check you later. I mean, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to go into another system and figure things out. So again, got to give kudos to them and what they've built over there, because it is something to look at, and the rest of the league might want to take notes, because there's a lot of teams that need to be doing some fixing up, and
they're 11-4
for a reason.
So,
and they've had bad wins.
You think that this is an easy feat for the Cowboys? It's not. They're 11-4, and I'm looking at their schedule now to kind of see how difficult it really has been. Looks like the beginning part of their schedule from week 1 to week 8 before their bye week in week 9 was a little bit more difficult and jam-packed than it has been after their bye week. But still, they're 11-8. They've won the last 2 games that they've played consecutively. They're on a hot streak right now, and yeah, I'm a little.
You don't sound confident. I think we match up well against them.
I think we do.
Here's the
we
thing.
just haven't proven that we can actually beat teams like this.
I think the Cowboys match up well, yes. But what I've seen out of the last 2 weeks, I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Yeah?
I am.
That's fair.
I'm pissed.
I was pissed yesterday.
Yeah.
I was pissed on Sunday. I mean, it's for me to feel fully confident in them right now would be unrealistic going into this game, because what you've showed the last 2 weeks, I want to say it's uncharacteristic. When it was against the Bills, the loss against the Bills, I said it was uncharacteristic. This loss against the Dolphins, I'm like,
What's good?
What's characteristic now? Because now I'm starting to be a little confused of what the actual issues are. Given this is not a road game and that narrative is just continuing to kind of be fed into. But I'm just I want them to go into this game and I want them to be the team that they were 2 weeks ago, because that's the team that can beat the Lions. The team that you saw play Seattle, that's the team that'll beat the Lions. The team you've seen the last couple of weeks, no. And given there's injuries, there's different aspects from when they played Seattle. I understand that part of it. But overall, it's frustrating when you see 2 consecutive weeks of play like that and you have no answers from anybody as to why it's happening.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
I'm personally, let me keep, if we keep it in a buck, I don't like that there's no answers for what, I think you said that. I don't like that there's no answers for what's happening on the road, specifically offensively.
Right.
And again, I mean, I think the quarterback and what he did, the last draft, I tweeted it, is like, hey, listen, he put them in a position to win. That game wasn't pretty. He was getting tagged out there.
Yeah.
There could have been 2 safeties in that game. It was just not, like I said, special teams didn't help out. Offensive line was shaky.
Yeah.
And your quarterback put you in position. I was expecting for this defense to get the stop. And I think the penalty was huge. Obviously, you can't get them. You can't give them 15 yards, and they already at the 30, baby.
Yeah.
And what made me most sick is the fact that their kicker had the nerve to have a career, not just
career day,
a
career day,
sir. So you telling me, so you telling me, like, we talk about people waking up for the Cowboys, the kicker
career day in the rain,
but the kicker ain't kicked like that his whole career. He was like, I got it, bro.
He said, "It's on me.
It's on me.
I got you."
5.
You relaxed.
Then you had him going like this.
Yeah, no.
On the camera, I
I know.
said, "Oh yeah, this is that day."
I'm
See,
sick
now
of
you
it.
guys understand why I'm pissed.
So to your point, I think it's crappy too, because that's why I said you need a complete win. Because I thought,
Exactly.
I thought
You said it perfectly.
again, your defense, they got you the ball back. They got you the ball back. They put you in position to go down there and score. We talk about this complimentary football. How you say? Is it in the room with us?
Is the complimentary football in the room with us?
Is
Anybody?
it here?
It ain't here. I can tell you that.
I hope it's there on Saturday.
And to
We
your
can't
point,
find it.
and to your point,
It worries me if they lose this game.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to be
There's not.
negative, and I'm not trying to say that I don't think they can win. They can win this game.
Yeah.
They can win this game. I'm just saying, if they do not win this game and you have 3 consecutive losses right before you go into playoffs,
Kiss it goodbye. I'm
it's
not gonna
ugly.
lie.
No, this is
it's not very good.
This is a big game. I thought that Miami game was gonna tell me. And in fairness, let me tell you, there are good things to take from that game.
Oh, for sure.
They took a step in the right direction. Now, this is gonna let me know, are we really making a full U-turn? Are we rerouting? Is Siri telling me reroute?
Oh, no, because when I was driving yesterday, Siri kept doing that and gave the same vibes. It really did.
I need her to figure. I need them to figure out what street they want to be on and make a decision. Because all you doing right now is standing at the light with your turn signal on. Let's go.
Oh, I don't like when people do that.
Stop playing with me.
Nah.
Well, we're gonna take our first break.
That was
You're
our
watching
venting
Girls
session.
Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Enjoy premier dining, shopping, and experiences from over 20 plus restaurants, shops, and more at the Star District. Check out Women's Boutique's Fleece Style of Frisco and the official boot partner of the Dallas Cowboys, Lucchese. Enjoy New Year's celebrations at Snowbird Cocktail Lounge, Concrete Cowboy, and City Works Eatery and Poorhouse. Visit thestardistrict.com for the full directory. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Sidecar is also very fun.
Yes,
at
It
times.
is fun.
I
The
like
food's
Sidecar.
actually pretty solid, too.
Yeah. Good food, good drinks,
Yes.
good desserts. We love that.
That part. Sorry. But yeah, no, let's go ahead and break down this Cowboys defense and Lions offense. I'm like you, these days is starting to run together.
I don't know what day it is anymore. I'm serious.
Yeah. But no, I mean, the Lions just beat the Vikings.
Yes.
So just talking about Jared Goff, we'll start at the quarterback position. What challenge does he present to this defense? Because he's been playing very well under center for sure. I think 30 of 40 passes for 257 yards and a touchdown. That was against the Vikings. He's got some weapons. He's got a 1-2 running back punch that's obviously been playing very well.
Right.
But just talking about him, does he? Let me word this correctly. Is this a guy that you have to plan for as far as Dan Quinn? Because when you think about teams that have like a lot of mobile quarterbacks,
Sure.
like a Jalen Hurts, is this someone that you technically have to plan for when you're thinking about Dan Quinn?
It'll be less stressful. He's not as mobile now. He will take off if he needs to.
Yeah.
But he's not as mobile as some of these other quarterbacks you have seen. Really, what you plan for the play caller, because the play caller has a very good understanding of his quarterback and his team. They run play action. It's heavy play action. It's like upwards of 90%.
Yeah.
And they do that because obviously, they're effective running the ball. So that's why I talked about the discipline of the defense. And one thing about Goff that he doesn't get enough credit for, I think Dak does as well too. He sells it, baby. He's an actor. Baby, he will tuck that ball like he is showing it or whatever the case may be in play action. So he puts you in those positions, but you ask, do they have to plan for him? Like I said, you mostly have to plan for the pre-snap motion that creates spacing, leverage, eye candy, etc., to give the quarterback sure reads. Okay. Now, I do think that Jared Goff is a little bit better at playing off script than the quarterback you just saw. He will make some things happen. He has some arm talent, so he'll make some things happen. But you plan for the play caller who will catch you slipping, and Ben Johnson, and they use motion to definitely try to offset your alignments and get your linebackers out of play. So they got to prep for that, in my opinion. Jared Goff is a pretty good quarterback, but Cowboys sacked him 1,000,000 times last year. Not literally 1,000,000, but 5 sacks.
Like
We got you.
5 sacks in a game
For
is
him,
a
I'm
lot.
sure.
And this offensive line is the same. And if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, I saw that their left tackle right
on the
now
injury report.
is their left tackle Tater Tots. Let me
Here
see.
you go.
It's okay.
I got you. Here.
Dang, my thing signed out.
I appreciate you. Their left tackle is where is this gentleman? It's not
I
Penny.
saw you tweet about it.
I know. I'm trying to find it. Lordy, because
Sorry,
this
here you
is
My thing signed out. I'm sorry, y'all. Here
It's
you go.
okay.
No, it's okay.
We're having a day.
Oh, I got it.
Isaiah.
Taylor Decker.
Are you talking about? I'm sorry, I'm tripping. My bad.
Their starting right
Slow
tackle.
moment.
He's dealing with a groin. He was limited yesterday. He did not practice today.
That's interesting.
which is interesting because if it was like, oh,
I'm also interested to know how many
rescue.
padded practices they have left.
Tracking.
Yeah.
And if they use one this week.
Tracking.
That's interesting.
But
to
I
take
do think
into.
that's very important because that's the starting left tackle. We clearly understand that Micah's for vengeance out here in these streets. Honestly, they struggled with him last week. Miami did. He was screaming off the edge. So
Right.
that matchup could be huge. So that's something to keep an eye on because again, this offense operates because their offensive line is so good.
Yeah. I also think in that case, too, kind of piggybacking off of that, something I noticed when studying the Lions offense is Jared Goff is fantastic on 3rd and 4th down situations. So you have to keep them as far behind the sticks as you possibly can in this matchup. It's not a matter of, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2. Nah. Jared Goff is going to get you that 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 even. So to keep them as far back behind the sticks, he's going to get those 3rd down conversions. They're not afraid to go for 4th down.
I was about to, that's literally one of my things
They're
I
not
wrote
afraid
down.
to go for it. So you have to play each drive with this team knowing that they're ultimately most times going to have about 4 chances to go. They're not just going to take, especially if it's a short yardage situation, they're very confident in how Jared Goff can convert in those 4th down situations. So it's another thing. Keep them behind the sticks. That's when you need Micah. That's when you need the sacks. That's when you need those tackle for losses. You need the batted balls. You need all of that in this matchup because he's going to get you on those 3rd and 4th downs.
Is this somewhere where you mentioned it a little bit, Aisha, playing Micah at linebacker. Is this a game where you do that, or you just keep him at edge rush, on defensive end as edge rusher?
Their offensive line to me is too, when you talk about size,
Bigger.
baby, this is a big offensive line, and they are athletic, and they can get to the second level at will because they understand the running backs that they have running for them is that they just need a crease, they just need a little bit of space, and they'll be able to get after it and get to the second level and make plays. I also, too, I was looking at the rest of their gentlemen. They have Amara St. Brown, who does a lot in the slot. He's shifty. I will say that I believe that Jordan Lewis has really come along this last couple weeks. One of the only bright spot on this defense. You can see that he's getting his legs under him. He's getting further away from that injury. And then also, too, Sam Laporta. Cowboys had a lot of interest in this gentleman coming
don't get me started.
out of the draft.
You know how I feel about that.
Something about those Iowa tight ends, man.
Don't get me started on that.
yeah,
don't bring up my trauma from that, please.
They use him. He does some things in a blocking game because he's sound there, but as a receiver,
They use him
he
in
has
play-action situations.
Yes, he has yak ability as well. So I'm looking at how whoever is manning that nickel, whether it's Jaron Curse or those guys.
Tackle well. Tackle. Don't tackle forward. Tackle. Pull them down. Do not tackle forward.
Sick. Yeah, this gentleman.
Y'all didn't get to hear from me yesterday, so it was all pent up. It was all pent up emotion. I'm just being healthy and I'm releasing my emotions,
No, I mean, and also, too, don't sleep on Jamison Williams. This is a gentleman that can take the top off. And the way that the tight end is man in the middle of the field matched with Amara St. Brown, this Cowboys defense, the secondary is going to have their hands full. That's why I think it's going to be important for pressure to be present in the room with us against this offensive line. Find opportunities, find spots, because Jared Goff, when he is pressured, he will make some mistakes. He's 14th in turnover worthy plays. He's 8th in completion rate. So again, timing.
Yeah.
The pre-snap motion and stuff gives him a lot of quick reads and allows him to be able to do those things. So I'm looking at when he's under pressure, he will give up some plays and he will make some decisions that this secondary might have time to take the ball away. We need turnovers, my friends.
2 back-to-back weeks without none.
Ridiculous.
That was the first thing Jordan Lewis said. He said, we lost the turnover battle. And that it matters for this team and how they're constructed.
How they operate in playing complementary football, that's part of it. And the standard that this defense specifically has set for themselves in being able to create turnovers, it's just been disappointing the last 2 weeks. So, yes, they need that too. But also, the Lions are 5th in the league for most points scored.
Yeah.
So they've scored 412 points this season alone, 5th in the NFL. you need to contain them because they will get down the field, they will extend drives, and they're going to score points. They're going to get points on the board. And so again, that goes back to your point, Aisha, of all three phases, making sure that they are doing their jobs, honing in, because you need to do what you can, especially on the defensive side of the ball, to ensure that they're not scoring those points, because they will, and they find ways to get down the field. And so I think this is the perfect matchup for this team to be able to build the confidence back in. And I don't think they've lost confidence. I don't get that feeling from the guys I've talked to in the locker room. I think
a loss here does, though.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right.
If you lose this game, you don't have any turnovers. You're 3 straight weeks losing the turnover battle. That's kind of your bread and butter. That's what you've hyped yourself up on as this defensive scheme. Can't tell me that you don't start to lose a little bit of confidence and it kind of becomes a mind game at that point. So
Now,
you need to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm just venting. Don't mind me.
Okay, so if we look at how Dan Quinn kind of schemed up the past couple of weeks, it's been kind of similar. Just not wanting to get beat over the top, right? They kind of did a little bit of containing Tyreek Hill for the most part, of not accepting those big plays. Is this a game where you just kind of switch things up a little bit? How do you scheme? Because clearly it's not working, or the way that Dan Quinn actually, cooked up the ways he wanted to stop the Bills in Miami. But now, is this a game where you change things up? And if so, what?
Cowboys elected to play more zone last game, which was the smart decision because, baby,
Couldn't match up.
they got in man a couple of times and I was tense. And again, this is another, like I said, this is another receiver core that has a lot of different variations and variety. When you talk about size, speed, they have a little bit of it all. So to me, I think you give this pass rush is going to have to get home. But disguising some things and maybe giving Jared Goff making him think he has something there that's not there. Could be helpful. I liked that they decided. I thought I was very happy that Dan decided to kind of change up. This Cowboys play man at a very high clip, and the thing about man is that it requires such discipline. It requires your guy to beat the other guy consistently, and with zone, it can. If you implement it correctly, because you can mix it in, you can show and go where you show zone and then you drop in a man, all those stuff. That always benefits your defense. And when you're not just going in there straight up and like, we're running cover 1, cover 2, you stop it. My guy, you have to change some things up because right now these OCs are seeing how you run defense and they're scheming it. They're scheming it up, big dog.
Out-scheming it.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, they are.
They're scheming it up, big dog. So to answer your question, absolutely. If only to show something different going into the playoffs to put on tape. If only to show that you will adjust because other teams are looking at you. They're like, oh, no, they're going to run man.
Yep.
They're going to run man. Do what the 49ers did to you. They didn't run man all year, and they was like, we play the Cowboys?
Let's switch it up.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You have to adjust to what you got to play the matchup game. You can't be stubborn in what you do. Like, you got to play the matchup game. And again, I understand it requires discipline and stuff like that. Malik Hooker being back was huge for this team last week. Having that quarterback back there again, he's the secondary quarterback. You could tell that the communication was a little bit more sound, but he came up and helped in run defense as well. So switch it up.
I also think, too, you forget, because it's been so long since you've seen Leighton on the field, you forget how much you miss somebody who's able to diagnose these kind of things, too. Because you don't have somebody sound in that position like Leighton was.
Because Damone is still a nugget.
He's still learning. And I'm not going to fault him for still being able to learn. He's taking his year 2 jump, but he's being asked to do a lot this season. You're being asked to fill Leighton's role when Leighton was on his come up the last 3 years specifically. I mean, Leighton learned how to diagnose, and I think he learned it very well under Dan Quinn, but that's a lot to be asking of Damone Clark and
Bell.
I wonder who's the green dot
safety
then.
and
Because it's been Hooker.
It's
been Curse.
Yeah, it's J-Ron. Well, the thing, when I've talked to Damone about wearing the green dot, what's interesting is he wore it in the preseason. And so that was his way of kind of trying to learn how to do it. And I talked to him about this a few weeks ago even, and I think it was the week that J-Ron was dealing with an injury. And I said, if J-Ron can't be in and you have to wear the green dot, how do you feel about it? He said, I feel really good. I'm at this point where I would feel good being able to do that because I learned and I'm continuing to learn. He said, but doing it in the preseason helped him feel confident in being able to do that. It's just, Leighton had such a natural way of diagnosing what was in front. And I think that's kind of been a drop-off this season that they haven't been able to figure out, is how to diagnose on the level that Leighton was and who's doing that, who's diagnosing specifically, because Leighton was that guy and they just don't have that one solid guy that knows how to do it yet. And so, linebacker room is, it's young. Yeah. It's young. And I'm not going to say it's worrisome because in, 5 years we're going to be sitting here talking about the growth and how they're able to diagnose. But can't fault them for being young. But what you can fault is the scheme and not changing things up when you need to based on what's in front of you.
All right, we're going to take our second break. Kelly, let's go over a little bit. Sorry, y'all. Okay. But you're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Actually Wednesday, so I'm going to read the right read right now. Get the coverage you need this football season with Dallas Cowboys cold weather gear. Visit the nearest pro shop or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com. A Fanatics experience for knit hats, hoodies, jackets, and more. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I got some Christmas presents of some winter gear for the fam, and they loved it. So if you need a late Christmas gift or anything going forward, there you go.
Cool beans.
Birthdays, New Year's
Warm
gift.
ears.
Warm ears, warm hearts, warm weather somewhere. Not here. It's cold outside.
It is getting cold.
Well, let's hope this Cowboys team don't come out playing cold on Saturday.
Okay.
No, that was pretty good.
I can get jiggy to that one.
Go.
That's pretty good.
No, but for real, this Cowboys defense cannot come out playing cold at all. Do y'all think that... Let me see where I want to go with this. I'm sorry. Dang, why'd you look at me like that? No, I mean, if you had to decide which position group needs to set the tone, who would that be?
Safety. Safety. Hey, listen. This Jahmyr Gibbs and Devin Montgomery, they like to attack the edge. They like to do a lot of things after tackle. Not only tackle.
Lord tackle.
Like tackle. Like they this is a
tackle
physical,
down.
This
Don't
is a
tackle
physical
forward.
team too. Yeah.
Please don't tackle forward. Please.
The way that I think it's going to be important for the safeties to set the tone, stopping the run, the ones that are asked to do that in the box. Also, too, whoever is going to be defending Sam Laporta is going to have to be steady. I'm assuming it's going to be a safety. Wouldn't mind seeing some Wanye.
Okay.
Spy.
In coverage. I wouldn't mind seeing some Wanye in coverage. I think it said a lot that they trusted him on that fourth down play to go out there and get that stop.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So, and then also, too, they brought a safety blitz at one point in time in that game. The key to this game is affecting the quarterback. I mean, you got to earn.
On both sides.
They're going to have to, exactly. They're going to have to earn the right to rush the passer, which requires them to stop the run. But when they do have opportunities to get these guys off the field, like you said, they're in 4-down territory all the time. They believe it. you have to get to the quarterback, affect him, pressure him.
Yeah.
They were able to do it last year. This is the same offensive line, and it sounds like they may not have their LT depending on what happens. Heavy pressure, maybe a safety blitz, maybe do some of those things. This is a quick read offense most of the time. Who's the fastest guy that can get there a lot of time? That is the safety. That's sometimes a nickel corner, whatever. So I need them to play stop and run defense, sure tackle whoever's defending Sam Laporta, where your big boy draws. And then also, too, some timely safety blitzes could be effective. Some timely safety blitzes could be helpful with an offense that is very quick read. A lot of the time, quarterback just getting the ball out quickly as well. So safety for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna go up front in the trenches. I'm gonna say if you want to, like you said, earn the. How'd you say it? How'd you
Earn the
it?
right to rush the passer.
Earn the right to rush the passer. I liked how you said it. You have to stop the run. You hit the nail right on the head. Stopping the run starts up front in the trenches. This is your test. I'm tired of saying that. I'm tired of saying that this
is a good offensive
trench
line,
needs
girl.
to be battle tested. Look, please just do it. With or without Hank, we don't know his availability come Saturday yet. I will say he didn't participate in practice again today. Doesn't really give me much hope for his availability, but we don't know yet for sure. Nothing for sure. All I'm saying, this is your test. You want to start to gain a little confidence and moral victories back after the last couple of weeks, especially that Bills game. Look, I'm tired of talking about this run defense. Starts up front, starts in the trenches. I want to see that D-line getting after it, stuffing the trenches. I want to see some Osa Odigizua sacks back in this game. I want to see Chauncey getting in at Jared Goff. I want to see those kind of guys having that kind of game. It starts all up front. Mozzie Smith, I want to see him continuing to grow. Carl Davis, if he is elevated once again from the practice squad, which I believe this would be his last elevation if he is elevated. I want to see all of those guys have such a stout game just going into this, because for me, it starts up front, it trickles all the way back.
Absolutely.
If you can stop the run, you are in a very good position. You do it early, you're helping your team out. You're playing your complementary football.
That's good. What you got
I'm going to go.
defensively?
I'm going to be devil's advocate.
Okay.
I'm going to say linebackers. I'm going to say I need to see more from Damone and Marquise, because they've been challenged the last couple of weeks. And I think that this is, again, like you kind of mentioned, for this defensive line, it's a challenge for them, third straight week. I want to see how they step up to the page. I got to see more from them, especially with no more Rashawn.
Yeah.
You know? So, I want to see more from them. That's who I'm going to go with. If I had to choose a player, though, I'm going... This is hard.
A player. Specific player.
Specific player. I'm going to go Mozzie.
Okay.
I'm going to go Mozzie Smith, because I had actually got the chance to hear from Osa earlier today, and he kind of mentioned how he's starting to get the confidence that he needs. And he kind of mentioned how a lot of people aren't really understanding, like we've talked about all the time, of it takes a lot to develop, especially with him being so young. So he's starting to get a little more confidence. The game's starting to slow a little bit down. So if we get a chance to see Hankins not in the game on Saturday, hopefully we can see a little bit more from Mozzie Smith too. If you go player, who you're going with?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Defensively?
Yeah.
Listen, Dono, Big Six.
I knew it.
Big Six, you my guy. I need the Dono, and I'm seeing flashes of him on tape. I see him hunting, because that's what he is. He's the robber a lot of the time. He's the extra guy. They trust him. I need him to be vicious in the run game again and show what he's capable of, but also to making plays in the backfield. We're missing that from him. This is a guy that had 8 sacks last year as a safety.
Yeah.
As a safety.
Yep.
I need more from those guys making plays from behind the line of scrimmage. And to your point, you got to get these guys behind the sticks. I need you, Six. Yep. I need you to come on with it, big dog.
One player. Man.
defensively?
Everybody.
A corner. Pick a corner.
Well, no, I was gonna go with Duran. I really was gonna go with
He been
Duran in
quiet.
this. Well, that's why.
It's not a bad thing,
And,
but
and here's the
still.
thing: is being a young player like that, I don't want him to start wavering his confidence, because you break an NFL record and then you kind of just go radio silent. People aren't really passing the ball to you. They're more picking on you than anything else. What I don't want is I don't want that to waver his confidence or his growth. I want him to have one big play. We talk about how this is a game of confidence, and one play can really determine a lot for these players going forward. I want him to regain, I don't think he's lost it, but I want him to amp up that confidence right
Right.
before the postseason, because
That's
you're
good.
really going to need him. So I want him to use this game to do that for himself.
good.
Just because playoffs are right around the corner, you start playing to get ready for that. So that's
Need your
why.
playmakers to be playmakers.
And I've been
You're right.
dying to tweet Duran Bland is anything but bland.
It's
Guys, it's been sitting in my inbox or my draft box.
Yeah.
It needs to be tweeted out. It's going to happen. We're manifesting it.
Well, we're going to manifest a win, but we still got more to break down tomorrow. But that's a wrap for today's episode of Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?